Are you following your passions at work? I want to share 30 years of experience with you today. Welcome back to the Help for Leaders podcast. I'm Stacey Harris. Before we dive into today's episode, click here to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, ring that bell, share this episode. I'm going to be talking about 30 years. I am celebrating a huge anniversary this month. It was 30 years ago in 1992 that I started working for this organization. And then fast forward to 2010, I bought the company. So let's talk about 30 years. Oh my goodness. Do you know how I got this job? I had just graduated from Baylor University with a degree in computer science. Did you know that? I'm a computer scientist, well, by education. I've been studying human behavior for the last 30 years. But honestly, it was that degree that landed me this job. So we were moving back to small East Texas, Palestine. And after college, I was getting married and we were going to be living in Palestine. I thought I'd probably have to drive to maybe Tyler or somewhere to get a job in my field. But when we got back from our honeymoon, I got a phone call and they had read our wedding announcement in the Palestine Herald Press that said the bride is a graduate of Baylor University with a degree in computer science. And they had just purchased a database of clients and needed some help with that transition. And so this was back in the days of DOS. Telemagic was their operating system. SailMaker was the company they were buying these leads from. And so I said, sure, how much are you going to pay me an hour? And I think it was $15 an hour 30 years ago. And I remember thinking, that is amazing. You're going to pay me $15? Yes, I will come work for you. And so I would show up at 10 in the morning, leave at 3 in the afternoon, thought it would be kind of a 3-week project. After 3 weeks of really converting all of that code and getting everything imported properly and teaching them about their system and getting it set up on a server. This was pre-internet. We had an actual server in the office, and so helped all of that set up. They then offered me a full-time job. And so it was really to manage the network, but then also to start talking to clients. And I got fascinated because I was inputting all of this data, learning about assessments and communication and clients. And my mentor, Ken Bratz, who passed away this past year, really saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And he started really pouring into me and taking me along with him to client locations. I started listening and learning and really fascinated about organizational development, about teams working together, about communication. And that became my passion. I really was fascinated learning and then began to do facilitation on the side. He would take me along with him. I'll never forget the first time I flew solo facilitating a session. It was in Nashville, Tennessee. And I was supposed to only do like an hour of an 8-hour training. And it was kind of right before a break and he stepped out of the room. And I was going and I'm kind of looking around like I'm trying to do the handoff. Where are you? He didn't return. He actually went to the hotel because he knew he could not stay in the room because he would interject because this was his passion as well. And he knew if he was even sitting at the back of the room, I would just be like, here we go, pass it over. But he never came back. And so I was there. And it's a big client. I've got 50 people in the room. It was doing sales training, in fact. And so I remember at the end of the day calling him, and he was laughing, that big laugh that he did, and he thought it was the greatest thing ever. He had planned it. He had honestly planned to do that. And talk about getting thrown into the deep end, which he knew I was ready. I didn't know I was quite ready. And that began a journey of then me talking about buying the business and really doing a lot more of the facilitation, the training, all of the interacting with clients in front, not just behind the phone, because I was more of the individual doing customer service, calling, supporting clients in that way, and he was the one doing the front-facing work. And so that was a fun work trip. We had some I want to kill you kind of conversations. And he's like, I knew you would do great. I knew you would do great. And so here we are, fast forward 30 years. I have been helping organizations from government agencies to Fortune 500 companies to small businesses, really learn how to lean into the human skills of organizational development and helping people learn to communicate more effectively. We talk a lot about emotions, emotional intelligence, driving forces, why we do what we do, how we do what we do. And I've gotten to travel across the United States. I've even done some international travel with clients, and over the past 2 years, done a lot virtually. And because of the virtual climate, I have been in Shanghai, I have been in Australia, places I actually want to travel to. But yeah, I had one client when I was in Italy, and one of the participants actually took their computer out onto their balcony and said, "Here you go," and like showed me the city, trying to really help that itch inside of me to travel. And I said, well, I guess I'm kind of in 2 places at one time virtually, but it's been such a joy to help organizations. There's been some struggles though. There have been times where I was stretched beyond what I thought was actually possible. I remember one time flying to a client location. I was doing 2 days of training in North Carolina, and I flew in late that night. They had a car pick me up, take me to the hotel. As I am getting ready for dinner, getting ready for bed, I'm realizing that dinner did not settle well. And I think I got food poisoning. And early in the morning, I am up doing all the things that you do with food poisoning. I'll spare all of the details. But I remember it was terrible. I thought, how am I going to show up? I'm supposed to meet them at 7 a.m. to set up, and I can't get off the bathroom floor. I mean, it's that bad. And I'm thinking, can I call Kenneth? Could he get on a plane? There's no way he could get here in time. What am I going to do? So I remember calling the individual that I'm supposed to meet at 7 a.m. a little before that, and I'm saying, look, I am so ill. There is no way I can show up. And in that moment, I thought, okay, what can I have them do? I've got 12 people that have traveled here for 2 days for me to certify them in DISC. And so I remember they had their manuals, lots of reading. So I had them read a few chapters. I had them do some role playing. I had them read their reports. It all was just like coming to me in the moment. And I willed myself off of that floor. And at noon, I showed up, washed my face, put some breath mints in, did some training. At the first break, I remember going across the hall in the ladies' room, still not well. I came out of that stall. The women were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I need a breath mint. Probably need to brush my teeth now that has just happened." And so, yeah, I have experienced a lot of different scenarios. And I thought, if I can live through that, I can probably do just about anything. And that by that evening, I was feeling so much better. And so it was something that I had eaten, some kind of food poisoning, something. But I've had situations that I had to show up and press play and be full on in person. And even in this virtual climate, there's been days that things aren't going quite so well. I've had a dog that had surgery at my feet while I was having a live Zoom call, and I had to do some maneuvering, as many of you are doing as well. But I don't know about you, but longevity in the workplace, you don't really hear that many people these days that can say 30 years. And I love it. I love what I do. I love helping individuals. I love helping teams. I love helping organizations. But I think it really boils down to finding your passion, figuring out what lights you up. Helping people step into their destiny is something that's really a passion of mine. I want to help you learn how to communicate, learn how to navigate hard conversations, relationships. Really, we were wired to connect with people. That's the human condition. We're all about connection. And so helping that in the workplace. We spend a lot of time at work with these people. We should enjoy it. We should figure out how to make the best of those situations, having some hard conversations, maybe what that looks like one day, really celebrating successes. That also may be what it looks like, but really figuring out your passion and really leaning into that. I know in my workspace, we were a small consulting firm. I was given many opportunities to try new things. And it was such a powerful experience for me to get to travel to different locations, to get to work with all kinds of amazing organizations, to really be curious and listen and learn and grow from my clients, not just from my mentor, who was a phenomenal individual who saw so much in me and really pushed me into the place that I am today. So anyway, that's been a little bit about my journey. Obviously, there's a whole lot of stories that I could tell. So many fun clients, some challenging ones as well, that I have worked with over the years. And I am so thankful for all of those experiences that have shaped me into who I am, all of that knowledge that I get to share with you and your teams to really help propel you into this next season. So I hope you've enjoyed listening a little bit to my journey. I know I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Join me next week because we'll be sharing more about help for leaders. If you enjoyed this episode and would like more information on emotional intelligence, behavioral styles, or communication, I'd love for you to click here to watch more episodes. And we'd also love for you to click here to subscribe so you're notified each week when we post more content.